Yeah, there's this animation I've always wanted to run. Check it out. All right. We're not going to be named 50 buttons each anymore. We're going to be called Shortcut Labs. How many of you know, like, basically what we're doing? Okay, but okay, less than half. That's cool. I'm going to talk slightly about what we do, and then I was asked to kind of how do you do a startup nowadays in like Stockholm? So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm not, you know, a tenth of as experienced as Jens is, but I can tell you like how did we start and what happened to us. So this idea started with snooze. You all know that product, I suppose. I was trying to quit, and I made this application that had one big green button in the middle of the screen, and just said I just wanted to tap it so that later I could get out the data. If I tapped it every time I took a snooze, then I could see how my usage kind of declined, right? Very simple. So for a very simple application like this, for this very simple kind of action, what do I need to do with the phone? I have to find it. I have to pull it up from some pocket or a purse or whatever. I have to unlock the phone with a 6-digit PIN code or with a fingerprint or whatever. I need to find the application I'm looking for. Personally, I've got hundreds of apps. I have to find the right function within the app, and then I have to activate whatever I want to do, lock it, put it away again. And this all requires not only at least one hand, but also my full attention. But everything we actually wanted to do was to activate one function. All the other things that we have to do this are just not necessary. Our other revelation is our name to the product. It's going to be Shortic. So Shortic by Shortcut Labs. Isn't that beautiful? We're doing a push button. It looks like this. So it's not very big. It's pretty much like a thumb. It runs on Bluetooth Low Energy. How many in here are like familiar with this term, Bluetooth Low Energy? Okay, good. That's what I thought, most people. Inside it, there's a red, green, and yellow light. There's a standard watch battery, and it will run for like 1 to 2 years, depending on use case. And it's weatherproof, like you can't swim with it, but it's going to be fine outside. So this prototype I'm holding, I have two. We have 50 in total, and they just came out of production of our first prototype run. This 50. We're actually not finished with the firmware yet, so I can't demo this one. I can demo the old prototype, but you know it's 2 days away. It's really frustrating, but it's good. So the way it works, it communicates with the cell phone, and then it makes the cell phone do something. So pretty much the cell phone can be in the background. It just has to be in proximity to make this button a shortcut to whatever function you need. And of course, it doesn't have to be a phone. It can also be like a pad or a laptop or whatever. So here are a few functions that we imagine can be possible. This is like a selection of what could you use a shortcut button for. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through a few of them. So this is like an obvious use case. I think you can use it between lovers or friends. Press once to text. You know, there are actually products that are already doing this, but this will be cheaper. Or hold it in to call boyfriend up or whatever. You can also imagine this as a security alarm. Just text my GPS position to my father, or whatever. I feel insecure. Yeah, this is pretty good too. You can stick it on your training gear or your bicycle and start and stop run keeper. I mean, I'm sure all of you have been running sometimes, and if you're on a tight, like if you wanna have a good time, it's really frustrating to kind of pull up the phone when you're finished running and try to, turn off run keeper. So I think this would be a pretty good function. A lot of you probably interested in cars, since a lot of you probably came for Jens, but do you know Motormännen? We've spoken to them, and they say that they can really back this product up, because the biggest security problem today, well, maybe not the biggest, but a very big security problems today is that people are tapping with their phones, which just recently became illegal as well. So these are a few functions. Just call the closest ones, start Waze and navigate home. It can also be a button for, just remember where I parked my car, or which is apparently, I heard today, a big problem in the States. I don't know. Here I put on some prototype buttons on my wall just above my stereo, having shortcuts to different playlists, so that would run on my stereo. So as I said, I was just going to tell you a short story about how we kind of entered the startup scene from just having an idea. So I had this idea a couple of years ago, and then I went to. Is this interesting? Like the story? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know this place? Anyone recognize this? Okay, these guys kind of advertise in the subway and everything. They say, if you have a business idea, come to us. So I did. And the truth is that, I don't know has anyone in here been there? Yeah, okay, good. So the first time I hope no one is here from there, but the first time you come there, it feels like an AA meeting, pretty much. But they have some really, really talented innovation. What do you call it? Coaches, innovation coaches. So once you're there second time or the third time, things get really interesting. They have really, really good advice. So what they told me was pretty much, yeah, you should apply for this and this scholarship, for this and this money. This will fit you really well. So I did that, and one of them just, this is awesome. And that was Stockholm City Innovation Grant, which is great. And they gave me 50,000, which is just enough to have a good dinner and start a limited liability, aktiebolag. So I did that. And I also bought a few of these Texas Instruments sensor tags. Do you know? I know, yeah, some knows. It's pretty much a demo. Well, it's like it has a lot of sensors in it, and then you can kind of easily program your own apps to read off these sensors. And it's like $25. So if you want to start anything using Bluetooth Low Energy, that's a really good starting point. And then because I won this competition, I came to talk with a guy from Mats Horn from a company called Tinitel, and I said I really need like a mentor. I'm really like alone here. So he said, yeah, you should talk to Student Inc. or KTH Innovation. KTH Innovation has been like the greatest thing for me, at least. I know you have to be kind of connected to KTH somehow, but if you're not, you can probably go to Stockholm universities likewise, or, well, any kind of institution that can really help you. So I made some prototype things out of these red lipsticks, and the KTH Innovation helped me to 3D print cases for them, pretty much. So that's what I did. And then when I had these to show, I could pitch for other money, and then we had this Vinnova grant. Vinnova, if you need money, you should really look to these, what do you call it, calls. I wouldn't say it's like easy money, but they have a lot. So It's pretty interesting. So from this point of view, once you get a small amount of funding, we could hire really good consultants. So we did that, and then we're pretty much here. And with these prototypes, together, not to say the least, actually, Student Inc. helped us with a lot of things. And most importantly, we get an awesome bunch of developers actually working for us as part of a course. Some of them are here, doing an amazing job, of course. This has led us to, we just got into this incubator in San Francisco called Highway 1. So we'll run the company from there this spring. And also, we actually got customers, which is, pretty awesome. We have 10,000 buttons that a customer says they want to buy. So we're on there. So just, I don't know. We're making a crowdfunding in April. So if you're interested in this, support us on that one. You'll all know about it. And then we're gonna ship our first batch this summer. So really, if you want something like this, talk to these guys. They're gonna help you to see through the jungle. All right. How much time do I get?
You have 15 minutes.
Okay, that's a lot of time.
We'll think of some questions.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about technology. The range is standard Bluetooth. 10 to 30 meters, in an open field, it'll probably reach 100 meters. So these buttons talk to the cell phone. I forgot that. I could run a demo actually. Before I continue, if you want to.
Yes.
This works. Yeah, okay. You can all see my code. It's not very difficult. So now I have two different buttons here. So this one I set on. If I push this one, the button will sound really loud so that I can find it. And this is like the most basic function. But everyone I tell this is like, yeah, I could use that, and especially visually impaired people that we talk to. We talk to Synskadade Riksförbund, and they was like, yeah, we always have two phones because you have to call your phone somehow if you lose it. So they could really use this function. What is it? This do? Oh, this didn't work. That's great. Sorry. So. I can actually show this amazing. Sorry. All right, so we're connected. I was actually gonna run a camera. I think if you hold this in, then you start the camera, and you can use a remote trigger. Just, it's pretty neat. Okay. Okay, it's great, and then you hold it again, and then it goes away, and then you can tweet it if you want to, which is like this. All right, thanks. You have a hashtag or something?
IoT Stockholm.
Shortly. IoT. That's great. So that's a short demo. So you could see we're not quite finished with the UI and everything, but the functions are coming. And I'm going to talk you through. I'm coming to that. Anyway, we're not really talking to the phone since Apple hasn't had the good taste to kind of implement our buttons natively yet. So we're talking to an application, and we're making one application, called the Shortic app.
That was me, sorry.
And we have all this kind of function in it. And of course the button talks to our open API. So if anyone wants to develop functions using our button, we have this open API. I'll show you more about that. And the API of course talks to, we're making support for Apple and Android. You can have multiple buttons. We haven't reached the limit where you can't have more buttons yet, so we don't know. But it's pretty much you can have hundreds of them. Of course, you can easily implement our support in your own app if you have an app, and you can also run. I actually did that now. I ran 2 different functions on 2 different apps, so you don't have to have one app. You can have multiple apps talking to multiple different buttons at the same time. Yeah, this might be interesting for some of you. Some of you pretty much know this a lot better than me, but so basically, if you want to develop for Bluetooth Low Energy, you have these 2 main systems, of course, from Apple and Android. The API from Apple is called Core Bluetooth, and for Android is called BlueDroid. BlueDroid it works with some products, while Apple works with all products. BlueDroid is not really functioning until KitKat, and no phone actually has KitKat. But we did buy one phone that has KitKat, and on that, this API is buggy, badly documented, and not written by Google at all. It's written by Broadcom, and it doesn't work, pretty much. While Apple does it excellently. But then we have a big problem when we want to do all these things in the background, right? We don't want the user to have to pull up the phone, and Apple limits that very much. While Google, Android it's all open, so you can do pretty much anything. Yeah, sorry. Some of our functions just showcasing like what's possible on Android, what's possible on iOS if the app is on the foreground, which is kind of useless, and what works on iOS when the app is in the background. So most things works, like posting, getting from servers works, and that solves most problems. Notify is a function that's pretty cool. You can have the button like blink yellow when you get a notification, and then you push the button to open that application and see the notification pretty much. And then maybe you can project that through TV or something. That won't work perfectly on iOS because you can't launch an app from the background and yada yada. What you also can't do with Apple, unfortunately, is like call and answer and decline calls from the background. But you can still have a shortcut to call someone up, but then you just have to tap the screen to call it up. But then it can't be in the pocket. So.
Quick question. Would it be enough to press the button on the headset?
Yeah, probably. Not sure. Okay. Yeah, just a quick, about our API. We have 2 classes: Shortic Button, Shortic Manager, that you just have to implement, and then you get calls to our delegate methods. And our delegate methods is pretty straightforward. Just okay, so, someone clicked the button, then you can implement your own functions. Someone held the button, implements other stuff. So it's really straightforward. Yeah, this is like how it will work. When you first get it from like the package, it will be in initialization state, and then any phone can listen to this particular button, but only if you have this kind of UI open. So you push it, and then in the phone it will appear.
Can I connect it to 2 phones?
Yes. We haven't really solved that yet, but it's going to be possible. Then it's going to be active mode, and at active mode, if you initiate this contact, then you are in active mode pretty much, and then the button and the phone can communicate in 2 ways, and that's really good if you want something to happen really quickly when you push the button. You want it to happen instantaneously. And then, of course, you can lose the connection. Yeah, and then it'll be unconnected, and then it will just kind of try to advertise like, "Hey, I'm here. Please try to connect me," and the phone will try to find this signal all the time. So, what's really important with our product is that we can have a passive mode, which is a mode where the button is shut off. It's completely turned off all the time until you push the button, and then when you push the button, it will kind of advertise just a special code that only your phone knows about, and then this code will, this phone will search for this particular button all the time. So that doesn't take any battery on the phone almost, but it takes no battery on this one, which is why we can have very long battery time.
So are you saying that the button is paired with your phone?
In active mode it is, but not in passive.
So like when you say that the button it sends a special packet, so can somebody else send that special packet as well?
Yeah, I guess.
About Windows Phone and BlackBerry support.
Yeah, as soon as they support Bluetooth Low Energy, good enough, and there's a market for it. So just quickly, if you're ever into this, like designing this kind of products, you'll have the choice of choosing between a chip and a module. Just quick, a module is bigger, it's much more expensive, but it's got all certifications, it's got an antenna, and it's really easy to implement the code. And SoC stands for System on Chip. That's going to be much more cheaper, and a module will always build on a chip. But if you're making quantities of up to 1,000, a module will always be much cheaper because certifications is really expensive, and you will also have to code in pure C. So development costs are much more expensive to the chip. But of course, we're aiming for really big volumes, so we're choosing chip. And this is like Anders asked me to say, what's been your biggest problems and stuff? So this is one of the problems that we really struggled with, that I probably struggled with for a year or something, like which chip do I choose? Well, now I know a lot of stuff about this, so if you have any questions about this, I'm not going to go through it. I know a lot of it. We ultimately chose Dialog's chip. Yeah, it's going to be available this summer. The retail price is going to be about 100 SEK per button. Please, if you're interested in this, I'll come to questions. Are you okay? Sure.
Yeah. What crowdfunding site are you going to use, and what's the price going to be on the crowdfunding?
That's not decided. It's going to be Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
So, if not hundreds, there have been quite a few crowdfunding projects based on BLE devices already.
Yes.
So, how do you plan to take this forward? Like, is this only device of Shortcut Labs, and how do you look what Shortcut Lab will do in the next 5 years or 10 years?
Okay, so this good question. Now this is our first product called Shortic. This is definitely not our last product. So the question is, how are we going to proceed? A lot of the projects you see on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, they are, well, seemingly one-product companies that says we can make money on this campaign, pretty much. We don't think that our greatest income is going to come from Kickstarter or Indiegogo. That's like a pretty small dent in our economical curve. But we're selling to large retail chains. You can also OEM this product. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like you can put a special logo on it, and then it'll just work for that company and stuff like that. So we have a long plan.
Have you considered like making this into a bit more? I mean, this is like a traditional button, but a bit more variable in the sense that it does not look like a button, but only to the person, the only person who's wearing it knows that it's a button. Have you considered that? Because then it would be a bit more obscure, but you know.
Yeah. That's also a very good use case. Well, business case probably. But our first product is shorting. So.
Why do you want to go with the crowdfunding track? I mean, why not the VC?
No, if you go with a VC, you'll never have that kind of spread, and you'll never have that that a lot of people like having their eyes open for the. Sorry, my English is failing. Having their eyes open for the product. So it's a marketing strategy more than an economical strategy.
So how much do you believe that you can raise that way?
$150,000 is going to be our aim, but our target is going to be lower.
Sorry.
So what?
How do you think your product can compete against applications like Siri and even new innovations like Google Glass?
That's a very good question. How can we compete against Siri? Well, me for one, or Google Glass, me for one don't want to go around town and say, hey Google, take a picture, or that kind of thing. So voice command is something completely different. We're looking to an option where we can use this to initiate voice command. This is really simple. If you have this one single application that you want to activate, this is a much better solution than saying, Siri, can you please turn on, run keeper for running, you know? And then you look really silly on town too if you do that. I think we can compete pretty good. It's a complete different product.
Yeah. Have you ever compared with the NFC? Like for me, like for the NFC stickers, if I have the NFC phone, I just the sticker there and just launch the application.
Yeah. So the question is, can you use this instead of NFC? And the answer is yes in most cases. With Bluetooth Low Energy, you can monitor how close do you have to be to activate this function. So yes, you can do it.
How big is your team now, and how do you plan to develop your support organization? Because usually for hardware startups, support is the thing that hits them last, which they don't expect.
Yeah, we are aware of that. We are 3 people right now on full time, and then we have 7 developers, all who we try to acquire. But yeah, we are aware of that. I guess. Yeah, we don't have a plan.
100 crowns feels quite a lot. I would have wanted to be a bit cheaper so I can have 5 buy one and maybe buy some more later. Are you really going to get your volumes? And
Have you read the last line there?
yeah, it's just a gift.
But no, seriously, the retail price is as low as we can go using this technology. So, any more questions? Yes.
It's really specific, but can you stand on it? As how durable is it?
I know. Do you want to try?
No, I just saw it right away. But
well, it's not designed for standing on. But it's an interesting.
Car drive over it?
Can a car drive over it? No, probably not.
Have you done any actual real-world tests on the battery life, or how many clicks that can it sustain?
Sorry?
Any real-world tests on the buttons, like how many clicks can you trigger before the battery run out?
Oh,
What is the question?
no, so the question is, how many clicks can you do before the battery runs out? No, we haven't done that test because we still don't have the firmware ready. We just a couple of weeks, well, a couple of days away from that. So
It's a coin cell battery, so you can replace it, right?
yeah.
Okay.
You understand? If you buy a button for 100 crowns,
And you can use that to download any app you want for $150. So you buy the hardware, then you download the downware software like an app.
The software is free, of course.
Oh, well, what was $150 before? $150, $10, what was that? Shipment. Oh, shipment was over.
Oh no, that was okay. Sorry. This is like a comparison. This is like a general comparison. What does a chip cost to buy? What's a module cost to buy? And then that's before implementing it.
Well, for you.
This is just like, this has nothing with our product to do. So this is a bad picture. It shouldn't be our button up there.
You buy the hardware, you download a free app. Can you then change the app for something else? If you start with your stereo, you can change it for something for your car. You have to buy a new button.
No, you can. No, you can reprogram it anytime you want. And you can also like clear the data so that you can just use the button in any other phone or any other application.
One button is for one app. You want two apps, you need two buttons.
Depends on how you use it.
That depends.
Will you be able to connect to the nearest phone or just the one who responds first?
In which case?
If can you use it like I press the button and the nearest phone responds? The nearest connected phone.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good use case. But yes, if both phones have the same application running in the background. Yeah. But you still have to have an application running in the background.
Yeah, but you could use it like if you have it like a unlock for a door. You can press it, and if a phone with the right, unlocking app has it, the door will open.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. I think maybe.
Yeah. Should we do one more question and then we can move on to the next?
I mean, the reliability of the button, because I've been thinking if you have any use cases or business cases with medical services, for instance. Telco operators used to have like these big buttons for the pensioners, so whenever something happens, they could just like press it up and then it calls the ambulance service.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you have some plans related in this area.
I would say today that reliability is at that quality if you're using Apple's product, but not for Android.
But you said that with Apple products you cannot make a call.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, but you can still send text messages.